All right, so once again, we're given a rectangle. We're asked to find a statement for area and perimeter. So what is area? Well, here we go. What is area? Length times width. Now here's the important thing. It's the entire length times the entire width. Is that true? Are we only going to multiply part of the width with part of the length? No. So we're going to take our entire length, which is what? 3x minus 1. And we're going to take that entire thing. Thus, we must put it in parentheses. Did you all hear me? Because you need to be paying attention because you don't get this. You have to put that in parentheses. Our entire length times our entire width, which is 4. How many of you put parentheses there? Good. All right, good. If you don't put parentheses, you got it wrong. That's probably what you did on the test, and that's probably what you did on the retest. You have to put parentheses. Now we're going to multiply that through. We have to double distribute because it's 4 times all that stuff. 4 times 3x is 12x, and then 4 times negative 1. Negative 4. Can we combine those two things? No. So area is equal to 12x minus 4. How many of you got that part 100 correct? 100%. Good. How many of you forgot the parentheses and only multiply 4 to negative 1? Couple. Okay. Okay. Do you all understand why you can't do that? Yes. Okay. So don't do that in the future ever again. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. Awesome. Let's write a statement for perimeter. Now let me show you what I saw on the test and on the retest. People said, okay, perimeter is 3x minus 1 squared. Well, that means, guys, and then they said plus 4 squared. Okay, let me show you what that is. This is not correct, so don't write this down. That's 3x minus 1 times 3x minus 1 plus 4 times 4. When you're doing perimeter, do you times the sides? No. No, so you can't, right? That's not a true statement. Does everybody understand why if you write squared, not correct? It's not this side times this side plus this side times this side. That's not how perimeter works. We're simply adding up all the outside. So, we're adding up all the outside. So we're going to have 3x minus 1 plus 3x minus 1 plus 4 plus 4. Because this side's 4, so this side's 4. This side's 3x minus 1, so this side's 3x minus 1. Then we'll combine like terms. 3x's plus 3x's is how many x's? 6 x's. And then we have negative 1 minus 1. Negative 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4 plus 6. That's our statement for perimeter. Now, I think maybe what you're confusing the square thing with is this. Perimeter is equal to, also you could have written this, 2 times 3x minus 1. Is that a different thing than a square? Yes, you guys, multiplication's okay. Multiplication just means repeated addition. So what 2 times 3x minus 1 means is 3x minus 1 plus 3x minus 1. So you could have done it like this, times 2 to the, so times plus 2 times 4, that means repeated addition of 4 twice. So you could have done it like this or like this. Does that make sense, everybody? Not a square, though. Not a square. Okay, did I pick those up? Yes. Okay, awesome. Any questions on that? That was a good review problem, right? Don't miss it again. Do not miss it again. Let's get to the new stuff. Here we go. Okay, so today we're going to be actually doing change your worksheet to 2-2. This is actually 2-2. So we've already done 2-1. This is 2-2. Change it on your worksheet so that when you look on your grade and see a grade for 2-2, you'll know it's for this worksheet. Okay, so today we're going to be dealing with triangle congruences. Now this is just the introduction. This is the last day we're going to be seeing stuff we've already seen. Starting tomorrow, we have very rigorous math material. So you need to be really focused from here on out, okay? So for triangles, what we're going to tell is we're going to be given 2 triangles and we're going to determine if they're congruent. Now we're going to use triangle congruence theorems. Now we have learned these in the past, but we're going to get a little bit more advanced with them today. So these are the 4 triangle congruence theorems. There is side, side, side. Now order matters. So side, 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 that means if we have all 3 sides, a side, and a side, all 3 sides of 2 triangles match up, then they are congruent. We also have side, angle, side. Now in this one, order really matters. If you're given on the triangle a side, then an angle, then a side, and that's the same, and in the same order on the other triangle as a side, angle, side, then you know that the 2 triangles are congruent. Then we're also going to be seeing in the order angle, side, angle. So you'll be given an angle, then a side, then an angle. And if the two triangles have that same order and those same angles inside in that order, then you'll use angle, side, angle. And then there's also angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. So if you have two angles right in order and then a side, and that's the same on two triangles, then you know for sure that those triangles are congruent. Now these are the only 4 technical congruence theorems. But if you think about it, now I probably won't accept this as an answer, but if you think about it, back to angle, angle, side. If you have 2 angles of a triangle, we could find the third angle, right? So if you have 2 triangles with the same 2 angles, won't the third angle be the same? So angle, angle, angle. So that is not a technical congruence theorem, but that's one way of checking. Now, no, order matters. We'll talk about that more in a second. Now, don't spell a bad word. Don't spell a bad word. This is the triangle congruence theorem that doesn't work. Angle, side, side. Now, an easy way to remember, okay, this one doesn't work, is because you just spelled a bad word on your paper. I'm going to think you're calling me that word. Now, if you get that word, you'll say, oh yeah, that's a bad word. That one doesn't work. So just like this is a bad word, it's a bad congruence theorem. So you might have an angle and a side in common on a triangle. You can't use that one though. You can't use that one. It's not a true triangle congruence theorem. Now also look at this. This is that bad word spelled backwards. That one doesn't work either. That's still the bad word spelled backwards. Does everybody understand? So it's an easy way to check. I even caught myself. I set them free. They were having me. They were doing the first problem, and I'm like, oh, but it's angle, side, side. And they're like, Miss Christensen, you just spelled a bad word. I'm like, oh yeah, that one doesn't work. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's get more in depth of side, side, side. So this is what side, side, side. You're going to be given all 3 sides of a triangle. Well, you'll be given it on 2 triangles. Now, if those 3 sides are the same, you know that they are congruent. Now, here's the sign for congruent. Okay. So that's the sign you'll use. So once again, does everybody see how I have that side, double side, and then triple side here? So we have all 3 sides. We weren't given anything with angles here. So look at these 2 triangles with me. We have a blue side, a green side, a red side. Even though this is turned, we still have a blue side, a green side, a red side. Is everybody okay with that? So by side, 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 these 2 triangles are congruent. Does that make sense? Okay, any questions? They both had a red side, they both had a blue side, and they both had a green side. Yes?
So it doesn't matter which side it's on.
Right, so with side, 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 as long as they have if they have the same sides, if we can move those triangles around, but they'll still be the same. Yeah, good question. Next one. So side, angle, side. This is where order matters. So look at this triangle. Notice we're given a side, then directly after that, the angle, then directly after that, the next side. Order matters. Side, angle, side. Or you could go this way. Side, angle, side. Does everybody see how the order matters here? One comes right after another, so side, angle, side. So let's look at these 2 and determine if they are congruent. So right here we have a green side, blue angle, black side. Does everybody see it? Let's look at our other triangle. Do we have in that same order a green side, then a blue angle, then a black? Yes, same order, even though it's flipped, we still have the same information here. So we know that by side, angle, side, that these 2 are congruent. Questions on that one? A couple more, then I'm going to let you work. Stay with me. Angle, angle, side. Now notice order does matter here. Look right here. We're given an angle, then directly after that, another angle, and then directly after that, a side. So angle, angle, side. Directly after that. Okay? Now, notice this wouldn't be, I don't know what I was going to say. So, angle, angle, side. So let's look at these 2 and see if they are congruent. So we're given a blue angle, then a green angle, then a black side. So let's see if we're given that same information over here. Blue angle, green angle, black side. Does everybody see how? Same order, so we're all good. By angle, angle, side, we know that these 2 triangles are indeed congruent. Even though it's flipped and rotated, we look at the information given. Questions on that? Okay. Oh, now I do have people do this too. With this one, they'll say side, angle, angle, because technically you're given the side, then the angle, then the angle. That works too. That works too. Does that make sense? Okay. Next one. angle, side, angle. So this time we're given the angle, then directly after that the side, then directly after that the angle. The order matters. So angle, side, angle. So look at these two. Let's decide if they're congruent. So we're given red single angle, then side, then double red angle. Now notice that side is in between those two angles. So let's check this one. We have a single angle, black side, and then double red angle. So these two triangles are in the same order. That black tick mark is between those same angles. So these are congruent. By angle, side angle. Does everybody see it? Okay. All right, so let's practice this. Here we go. So everybody look with me. State if the two triangles are congruent and how do you know? So look at these two. Are they congruent? How do you know? Everybody think about it by yourself for a second. Are these two triangles congruent and how do you know? So tell your neighbor, yes or no, ready, go. Tell your neighbor. Tell your neighbor why. Okay, how many say yes? Raise your hand. How many say no? Okay, so everybody said yes. By which triangle congruence theorem? Good. Side, angle, side. Now I'm going to check this one to make sure. We were given a two tick marks side, then an angle, then a one tick mark side. We're all good. Does everybody understand how it was by side, angle, side? Yes or no? Sweet. Here we go. This one's a little trickier. I'm going to have you think about it before you say it out loud. Say if the two triangles are congruent and how do you know? So think about it and then I'm going to have you tell your neighbor. Think about it. Trickier. Yes or no? And how do you know? Tell your neighbor. Okay, so yes, how many of you say yes? Raise your hand. No? Raise your hand. Couple say no? Okay. So, why do you say yes? I'll ask that. Well, we have, okay, so you're saying side, side, side. We have these two angles that are the same, true. We have a one that is the same, so that's side, side. And then what? The middle, what about the middle? It's the same length. It's connected even. So this must be the same length on both triangles. So yes, by side, side, side. Does everybody understand that one? That one was tricky. That one was very tricky. Very good. Okay. Questions on that one? Let's look at this one. Ooh, this one's tricky. I want you to think about this one. So state if you know, state if the two triangles are congruent, and then how do you know? So don't say it out loud. I want you to think about it and tell your neighbor. Think about it. Go. Tell your neighbor. Yes or no? Make sure you get it in the correct order. So how many of you say yes? Raise your hand. How many say no? Okay. Okay, so we say yes, but tell me by which triangle congruent? Why do you say angle, side, angle? So the middle length must be the same. You're right. Then in this triangle down here, we have green, red, blue. In this triangle, we have green, red, blue. So that would be angle, side, angle in that correct order. Very good. Now I had a student last hour say, well, couldn't you also say that those two sides are the same? But no, it might look like a square. Might look like a square, but we had nothing telling us that it was a square. Does that make sense? If it said it was a square, you could use those sides. But we can't assume just by the looks of it that they are the same length. Does that make sense? We have to go off of the information given. So unless that tick mark was given, which it wasn't, you couldn't use those sides. You couldn't say that they were the same. Now if it said to you, this is a square, then yeah, you would know that that works out that way. Okay. Okay, this one's trickier. Are the two triangles congruent, and how do you know? You have to use the correct congruence. Anyone have any ideas on this one? Say it out loud. Yeah. Perfect. Yes, you're both correct. So Gavin was able to see that this angle and this angle are vertical angles. You're absolutely correct. And then if you look at it in the order, we would have angle, angle, side. So then looking at this one, we would have angle, 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 side. Angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. Good, very good. So this one's yes. By angle, angle, side. Any questions on that one? Very good on seeing those vertical angles. Okay, this one's last one, and then I'm going to let you work. Say the two triangles are congruent. How do you know? Think to yourself first. Think to yourself first, and I'm going to have you tell your neighbor, and then I'll have you vote. Yes or no? So tell your neighbor yes or no. Yes or no? I need to hear more talking. Yes or no on this one. This one's tricky. You shouldn't be working on the worksheet yet, or else you're going to be in trouble. Yes or no? And why? All right, how many of you say yes? Raise your hand. So how many say yes? And how many say no? How many say no? Okay, so I'm going to make you both, all of you, go to court. In a court, you'd have to justify your answer. So those of you that say yes, why? Those of you that say yes, speak up. Yeah.
Because it's side, angle, side.
So you're saying we have a side and an angle and a side that are the same?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And those of you that say no, let's hear you go to court.
Because side, angle, side.
Oh, so wait, you're saying this one's side angle side, but this one's not side angle side? Very true. Okay, so look at this one. This one was designed to trick. So we have a green, red, blue. Over here we have a green, red, blue. But remember, order matters and it has to be the same in both cases for them to be congruent. So we have green, red, blue. Here we have green, blank, blue. The red is not between the green and blue sides. Thus, this is not congruent. So that was good. Good, very good. Court arguments both ways. So this one's not congruent. Does that make sense on this one how the order wasn't the same? Very good. All right, awesome job, both of you. All right, do problems 1 through 10 actually on the worksheet. All right, guys, so now we're going to go ahead and just take this a little bit further. Because if you decide that two triangles are congruent, then there is a congruent statement, a correct congruent statement that we have to set up. So that's the hardest part of these, is setting up a true congruent statement. So let's look at our first example here. So first of all, we have to decide, are these triangles congruent? If they are, how do you know? And then we have to set up a correct congruent statement. So now understand this. If you have two congruent triangles, then each of them have an angle that match up. Each of them have another angle that match up. And each of them have the third angle match up. Then all their sides match up as well. So each angle has another angle on the other triangle that goes hand in hand with it. So once again, you have to set up a true congruent statement. So let's look at this one and decide if we know for a fact that these two triangles are congruent and how. So yes or no, are these triangles congruent? You say yes. So you say yes by what? Angle, angle, side. Let's check. So that was 20, 90, 10. Let's see if that happens on this triangle over here. 20, 90, 10. Same order? Same thing? Yes. So very good. Angle, angle, side. Any questions on that part? Now we're not done. We need to set up a true, correct, congruent statement. So the first part is easy. So I'm going to pick a triangle. I'm going to go with this one. So triangle. Now randomly I'm going to select ABC. The first one's easy. You just write it down. ABC, which is congruent to triangle. Now this part you have to get correct. Since you chose angle A to be first, you have to find the angle that matches up with angle A over here. So angle A is 90. On my other triangle, what's 90? D. So D must come first. They have to match up. And then we went to B next. B was our blank angle, right? So on the other triangle, what's our blank angle? E. So E's got to be next. And then C is our 20 degrees. What's our 20 degrees over here? B. So this is the correct congruent statement. Now, if your congruent statement, if you would have went with ACB, then you would have just had this correct according to what you put. So your congruent statement might be different than the person sitting next to you, but your A's will match up with your D's. Your B's will match up with your E's. Your C's will match up with your B's. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. Let's do another one.
Does it matter which triangle is the first?
Nope, doesn't. Good question. All right, tell me. This one's trickier. Please watch this one. Do not start working on the worksheet. Those of you that are, you need to stop, okay? Watch. Are these triangles congruent? How do you know? Write a correct congruent statement. So looking at these two triangles, are they congruent? Yes or no? You say yes. Okay, why? Side, side, side. Now, once again, look at this. This side has a 10, that side has a 10, this side has a 6, that side has a 6, this has a 3, that has a 3. So by side, 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 you're correct. These two triangles must be congruent. So now, once again, I'm just going to choose triangle ABC. The next part we have to be careful on, our congruent statement has to be true. So now, watch carefully. This is where it's harder on these ones. So angle A. Now, we can't use our angles like we did in the other one. But look, angle A is between sides 10 and 3. Does that make sense? So I look over here. What's between side 10 and 3? F. So F has to line up with A. Oops, I need to write my little triangle. All right, now looking at B, angle B is between 10 and 6. I look at my other triangle. Between 10 and 6 is angle E. And then C is between 6 and 3. So between 6 and 3 is angle D. There's my correct congruent statement. Any questions on that? Okay. No questions. Okay, do problems 11 through 15. Just get you ready for the next part. You need to watch. You're going to ask questions that I answer if you don't, okay? Now watch carefully and ask. So I don't want you working on the worksheet. You'll be lost on the next part. So I'm just going to do a few more. So let's decide. Are these triangles congruent? How do you know? And then we're going to write a congruent statement. Now this one's kind of interesting. Now, Gavin, what do you notice? Gavin knows, because he was able to do this in the last one. What kind of angles do we have right here? Vertical. So these two angles must be the same. Yes.
So would that be side, side?
Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to say before you try it is these tick marks are arrows saying that those lines are parallel. These aren't saying that they're the same. Okay? So make sure if you see that these two lines are parallel, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily the same. It just means they're parallel. So if you look at this one, we have two parallel lines and a transversal. Or we have two parallel lines and a transversal. Does everybody see the two parallel lines? What do we know if we have two parallel lines and a transversal? And what do we know about this angle and this angle? They're the same because of what? Alternate interior angles. So we only knew that because these two lines are parallel. These are alternate interior angles. So now we can continue to do this one. So we know that these are congruent, yes, by which triangle congruence? Angle, angle, side. Let's check in this one and make sure. Red, blue, 10, red, blue, 10. Does everybody see it? So angle, angle, side. Very good. Any questions before we write the triangle congruent statement? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just do triangle ABC. It's congruent to triangle. So ABC. A was red, double angle, so D. And then AB, B was blank, E is blank. And then C is C. There's our correct congruent statement. Any questions? Okay, couple more and then I'm going to let you work. Are these triangles congruent and how do you know? Now once again, these two double arrows mean those lines are parallel. That doesn't mean they're the same length. Can't use that one. So looking at this one, what do we know about this side right here? It's the same. And then we have two parallel lines and a transversal. So what do we know about, for example, this angle and this angle? They're the same because they're alternate interior angles. So this one would be angle, angle, side. So yes, by angle, angle, side. Now once again, we could quickly do triangle A, B, C. Be careful on this one. This one's a little bit, you have to be careful. So I did A, B, C. So A would go with D, and then B would go with, so look, A, B, C. So B is blue, right? So this is C, very good. And then B is with C. So C was blank, B was blank. Okay, questions on that one? Last one. Are these two triangles congruent, and how do you know? Good. You knew that this side was the same length, so side, angle, side. So by side, angle, side. And then you guys are good at writing congruent statements. Do I need to write this one out? Are you sure? Okay. Some people said yes. So triangle, let's go with ADC. Is congruent to triangle. So A was red. So I'm going to go with my other triangle, find red. It's C. D was on between the green side and the blank side. So the blank and green side would be B. And then C is between blue and blank. So down here, between blue and blank is A. Any questions? Yeah.
What if the rules can be like triangle BAC, BCA instead?
So triangle, what? Sorry, say it again.
It would still be side, angle, side. It's just one of the different, like B is first and then A and then C.
Yes. Yeah. So you could do a bunch of congruent statements. Is that what you mean? Okay, awesome. Yeah. You could do totally different ones. As long as they match up. Right. Very good. Okay, so now you're going to finish the worksheet. Guys, I'm done, but I don't want to see you put anything away till the bell rings. Now listen up. Do not skip the back page. There's some review problems on there. I'm doing them for a reason. If you skip those or you try to BS them, I'm going to look, I'm going to know, and I'm going to dock you big time. So make sure if you need help with those ones, you come get help. Don't just skip them or BS them. Do you all understand? Okay, awesome. And that's all we're learning today. Check your answers with me as you go, please.